Okay, so today at Wild and Brave, we are just in a new place because we're with Fitzgerald, Megan's special friend. Megan, tell us who is Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald is my partner.
He is your partner.
He's the world's wonder dog. He is the facility dog that I get to work with at the hospital with my oncology patients. And he is a world changer.
He
Can't
is.
say enough.
Yeah, he's so cute. He is a superhero. He is Dr. Fitzgerald. So we try to use his title to give
Yes,
him
dog
respect.
tour.
Yes. What makes him so special to you personally? Because you're an occupational therapist. For people who don't know, Megan is a practicing licensed occupational therapist. And you do interesting things every day, but Fitzgerald is special to you. Tell us why.
Aside from being the cutest thing on earth, other than you,
Thanks.
he is incredibly calm. So, you all may be aware of the amazing organization Canine Companions. But this is their 50th anniversary, and they have been placing service dogs with individuals with special needs and facilities for the last 50 years, free of charge for everybody. And that includes the hospital where I work.
Wow.
So he is a fully trained service dog, which they breed their own puppies in people's houses. They raise them for a year and a half. He had a beautiful puppy raiser named Bob. Shout out to Bob from Tampa.
Shout out to Bob.
I think I've lost track of the number of dogs he raised for canines.
Oh, wow.
He's in the teens. Like, it's amazing. They raise them for a year and a half.
Wow.
And then they give them away to canines to be fully trained for the rest of the 6 to 8 months at their formal training center. So Fitzgerald went to the one here in Florida, outside Orlando, and then they get placed with their team.
To me, it's the most selfless thing you could do. And it's not like they're being paid to do this.
No, they're doing it on their own time and their own expense. It really is love personified. I feel like the puppy raisers are the unsung heroes of canine companions. And to me, it's so much like parenting. Ooh. Right? You love your kid. They have to have all these wonderful experiences with you. It's so formative. How you socialize them, how you set boundaries. They need, and then they go do their beautiful assignment, their special work in the world. And I have to say, one of my favorite things about Fitz is that so many things is that
she's in love with this dog.
True. I'm never happier than when I'm covered in his hair and drool.
She's covered in hair every day.
Every day. I'm paid to do it. It's beautiful. But one of my favorite things about him is how calm he is.
Me too. My favorite thing about him is how calm he is.
He's so calm.
He's so sweet.
He's so regulated.
And his energy is he's wholehearted, but very at rest.
Very wholehearted. I love that. That's a better description.
Because he doesn't have a flat personality. For those of you who have not met Fitzgerald, it's not like he's a dud.
Oh, and if you see him with
so
the
full of life.
I think he's learning to spell.
I think he is.
One of these days he's going to jump up, just like he does when I say the actual word. Or we say dinner. That's also no. No. But as an occupational therapist, I have worked with him in every floor of our hospital, every specialty that we have, and he's good with every type of patient. There are some patients that he finds a little less stressful, a little more rewarding. But universally, he has this beautiful appeal. And the number one feedback I get from patients is that he just helped me feel calm.
Yeah.
He helped me feel safe. He helped me feel normal, because a hospital is such a foreign place.
In a hospital.
And no one chooses to go to the hospital. No. It's different than every other therapy setting where maybe you choose to do outpatient therapy or have someone in your home to get better after an injury or an illness. But most people didn't expect to show up at the hospital. And he puts his little nose through their door, and it is beautiful. So it doesn't work exclusively with oncology patients, but he has an incredible effect with them. And it's just beautiful to watch that journey of hope and joy, and building that bridge from despair or anxiety or depression or pain. And that bridge he builds to motivate them to move, to do their functional activities, to get back in life and go home to their dogs.
Being brave to take action in all those different seasons of life, whether you're hurt or you're recovering from a loss or you're trying to find your way with something new, It's that anxiety and that fatigue and uncertainty you feel. One of the things I want to talk to you about as an occupational therapist is kind of how the little choices we can make to try to help ourselves participate in life,
Mm.
and how I feel like you Fitzgerald is your part. You say he's your partner, and you
Mhm.
really mean it,
Mhm.
because he's helping you help people want to take the choice to engage. Um, when you think about engaging in life, what is I know I'm putting you on the spot, but what does it mean to you to help yourself engage in life, even on a tough day? Say it's a tough day. I mean, you have tough days working at the hospital. Anyone in healthcare knows how that can be.
Right.
What does it look like for you to embrace a positive emotion at work in a setting like that?
I think it's a big question, and it's a big thing that people in healthcare and so many other industries face. But I've learned so much from my patients
Ooh.
working with them. What I feel like is a bad day, my perspective has really been challenged, because I work with people that
Mm.
are just finding out they have a new diagnosis or in the process of transitioning to hospice, the whole continuum of curative resection of cancer to we're basically going home to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And just seeing how people embrace their own resilience and choose what really matters to them,
Ooh.
regardless of whether that journey is taking them to more a curative process or
Mhm.
more of a palliative, you know, um,
Mm.
deciding what that quality of life they want to have is. It's
Mm.
surprisingly joyful in a lot of
Mm.
moments.
Uh-huh.
But I think one of the best things about positive emotions and wellness in general, it's not the absence of sadness or the absence of negativity or the absence of disease. It plays right alongside those things.
Mm.
And if you can have those little micro moments of joy or hope or, just fun and play throughout your day, those tiny breakouts make such a difference. And I think one of the hardest things that I help my patients kind of learn and apply is the tiny little changes that you make that
Mm.
affect your journey and the outcome.
Mm. You talk about that journey and the outcome, and sometimes I know in my own life and in my work is we can tell ourselves a story that once we get through this, then we will feel better. Once we get through this, then we'll focus on being well, being happy. We don't have any choices right now. We just have to get through this. And in some ways, it sounds like you're saying, that story itself is telling something that isn't entirely true. That there's the choice in the journey that changes your access to positive emotions.
That is really a good way of saying that. I think that one of the biggest things that I've come away with is time is an illusion.
Ooh,
And
time is an
time is an
illusion.
illusion. And it's kind of a lie we tell ourselves. And
Yes.
I've certainly been this person at every phase of my life.
Me
Oh,
too.
after this, then that. The outcome is
Yes.
so important. It's values based. It's important to me. It's a
Mm.
beautiful goal. It's something I feel like God wants me to do. It's something that's good for my family. None of that changes the fact that all we have is today,
Right now.
right now, and the journey is more important than the outcome. You and I
Mm.
both love The West Wing, and our favorite quote from
Yes.
Leo McGarry: "The
Mm.
process is more important than the outcome," and it's just true.
It's true.
And in cancer, changes
Oh.
everything. It really does.
Oh.
But it also brings out things, and it
Mm.
also kind of brushes away those moments of, oh, when I have this, then I'll have this.
The
Time changes.
delusion
The
of
delusion of
later.
time. And just kind of the freedom to make different choices without
Mm.
a long up ramp. Sometimes we're like, I am going to change how I do this, and it's going to be a long process, and I have to start small and do all these things. And sometimes
Mm.
it's you in a moment, your life changes externally. So I've been looking for ways, how can we, in the moment, change our lives for the better because we've chosen to, not
Yeah.
just because we've been given something from the outside.
Mm.
And I think it's those micro moments. A lot of times we know how that negativity bias works in our lives. Something
right.
negative happens, it sticks with you. It's naturally sticky.
That's
So in
right.
that way, bad is stronger than good because it stands out more. But good is much more prevalent in our daily lives, and it has
is.
that transformative power.
Mm.
So I think those little moments of, just when Fitz comes in the room, it's just beautiful. And you don't have to be a dog person to experience that joy. You have to experience joy seeing him, or it doesn't work for you. It's
That's
not a
right.
magical power that he has over people because he's a dog. If someone's ill, allergic to dogs, or they have a fear of dogs,
He's like a
that's
joy
different.
delivery system.
He's a joy
He's a
delivery
little joy
system.
sprinkler.
He is. And you know, one thing that's interesting, we've been talking about this a lot, how pain and the brain
Oh,
works
yes.
and how anxiety and stress affect the brain. And it literally narrows your perspective.
Yes.
It
You
literally narrows
see
your
less
peripheral
of
vision.
life when you're
You see
in
less of
pain
life.
or anxious.
And so my challenge when walking into a hospital room with
Yeah.
a patient who is basically naked and afraid,
Yes.
you're in a gown you didn't want to put on.
Literally, they
don't want
take
to be
your
there.
pants and they
There's no pants in the
they
hospital.
come
guys.
in your door anytime they want. They don't tell you who they. It's a
Right.
stress. It's
Even
a
when
stressful
we're trying to be
environment.
as respectful as we
That's
can
right.
and give people as many choices as we can, it's a failure because you didn't choose to be in that spot in the first place.
That's right.
So I was trying to think of ways to use what we know about positive psychology, positive emotion, bring the science, guys,
Yes.
into those moments to just get as much juice as we can. Because I can be with a patient a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
And it needs to have an impact in that moment on their life. So these aren't just visits that I'm doing. These are actual occupational therapy treatments in an acute setting based on specific diagnoses and plans of care. So there's things you want to accomplish.
You have goals.
I have goals, but I have to be prepared that when I walk in that room, they have to change based on how the patient's presenting. But the minute I walk in a room, when I first started doing this, no one's really doing what we're doing. It's a beautiful thing to get to try to do something new. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity. But there aren't really people doing acute care oncology, animal assisted therapy for occupational therapy. It's just,
that's right.
It's kind of a new thing. So trying to find ways to make this as science-based and replicable as possible. I first started going in and asking people, oh, do you want to see a dog today? Is it okay if I bring a dog with me? And the patients that are limited by anxiety or depression or pain, nothing's ever a good idea.
Yeah, nothing feels like a good idea. And it isn't the dog or even the activity or you. It's that initiation is so hard for someone who is experiencing any level of depression or anxiety.
That is exactly right. And that initiation energy, that's the missing
It's
ingredient.
just not there.
But I actually was doing some further study on that. And I realized the science is showing that if you can get past that initiation, if you can spark them to kind of bridge from where they are to where they could be, they will experience, they being people who are anxious or depressed or in pain,
That's right.
They'll experience the same amount of pleasure in that activity. They'll experience the same emotions if you can get them started. So I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I waiting and asking? They're not going to want to get up with me whether I have the dog or not. They're not going to want to be educated in this new way of doing things or not. Let's go in and see what positive emotion can do. A tiny spark. What can a tiny wild spark do?
I love it. And sometimes I think we do that in general in our friendships too, where we try to ask for permission to help, or we ask someone to try in a way that isn't consistent with the anxiety they're feeling or the sadness or grief or wherever they're at in their process. And sometimes instead of asking them to try harder or to do the thing that will make them feel better, if you look for a way to share positive emotion with that person, it gives them the energy they need to engage in life.
Yeah.
And so it becomes more of a way of loving and caring for people in a way that kind of gets through the barrier of what they may be dealing with.
And we all know what that feels like. We've all experienced anxiety. We all experience sadness. We experience depression and pain. And there's something about when people ask you a bunch of questions and they come at you.
Yeah.
We don't mean to when we're concerned about a friend or even ourselves. Like, why do I feel this way? Why can't I fix this? Or what do you need? How can I help you?
Yeah, I think sometimes
it's overwhelming.
We turn it up a notch to try to compensate. I don't know. I think a lot of us do this where if we feel like someone is very, very low energy, we try to bring excitement to get them excited. And it's not that isn't sometimes helpful, but in a lot of these contexts, that high energy is almost, you can't receive it.
It's almost destructive in those moments.
I think it can be, it can come off not even just aggressive, but oppressive.
And tone deaf.
Yes.
right? So
At
like
first it
you
feels more
immediately,
alienated.
you want to change me. And I don't even know how I'm feeling. I certainly don't want to feel how you want me to feel. And I think the beautiful thing about kind of playing with this in an acute care setting with patients is you realize you have to be respectful.
Yep.
You have to be calm and you have to read the patient. And I think that when you start slow and people oriented, it's like with the DISC model.
That's right.
Personality, they say pet the fish, right?
Start slow.
Start like at an S, a supportive personality, people oriented and slow, and then work your way till you figure out, because you can always up ramp from there.
You can always speed up, but if you start too fast, you can't connect.
And that comes from wanting to be in a hurry. I think a lot of times from a place of wanting to help. And in the hospital, we have productivity measures. We have to see a certain number of patients. We're trying to make a difference in as many people's lives as we can a day. That's no different from you, trying to see as many people as you can, write as many posts as you can, help work on as many trainings as you can. And when we're in a hurry to help or in a hurry to get things done, it slows everything down.
It does.
And I think one of the great things about Fitz, him being calm, is that he doesn't fight that model of petting the fish. And you'll see people, you will be waking them up, or they're in a massive amount of pain, or they've just gotten a terrible diagnosis, and they roll over and they see him and their eyes light up.
They light up.
Their brain takes over
that
positive emotion. It sparks them. They didn't have to think about it. It leaps over that conscious thought. And then we can engage in whatever the goal of care that is that day. But that is why him being calm is one of my favorite qualities, because of how it allows that therapeutic rapport and that progression of care to grow. And we need that for each other as friends.
We need it.
And we need that for whatever business we're in.
Yeah.
We need to be calm. And a key principle of handling, because in addition to being the therapist that works with Fitz, I'm actually his certified handler, which I love. It has taught me so much about therapy and about being a person. And it's just, I see life through a whole different lens now. But one of the key things they teach us is everything travels down the leash.
Oh, I like that.
Everything you're feeling, your dog is picking up on. They're trained to be highly attuned to us, and they pick up on so many things. But that's happening not just with me. As I'm coming and going from places, he's picking up on what's going on with the patient. So there's that interplay of emotion. There's that interplay of connectivity that's happening, which is why I have to respond to him and to the patient. But it's not about like, oh, I have to do all this work. It's about thinking through, how can I let this person receive me, and what do I need in that moment? And just like you said, you can't come at high energy when someone's low energy. With handling a dog, it's similar but a little different. So like if the patient is very low, you help him be low, and then you can kind of grow that emotion.
Allow it to.
If they're really stressed and upregulated, you need to help meet them where they're at and kind of bring that down. When your dog is a little too amped up, you have to help them. You have to bring that low, slow energy to ground them down. If they're like, oh, I'm just gonna kind of hang here, you have to get them a little excited. You have to get their attention, because dogs are distracted by most things. You know, they just, you need to have their attention.
Be the squirrel.
Be the squirrel. Because if I don't have his attention, I can't keep him safe. If I don't have his attention, we can't work together. So,
I think there's a level on which, like when we're in our daily work or whatever, we're trying to get our own attention too.
Yes.
And we're trying to find the way to focus and be excited about what we want to be excited about. We're trying to focus and care about the work, the whatever our project is, or the things that we're trying to handle. And sometimes I wonder too, if it's like we come at ourselves with this aggressive energy. Okay, I got to hit it. Instead of, there's something you said earlier about how the meaning of what you're doing, that a feeling and energy flows from what you're doing, as opposed to using willpower. Sometimes I think we try to tap into our willpower and make things happen. And it's not that willpower certainly has a place, but there's something about tapping into positive emotion through meaning that can lift and can help our work grab our attention.
It's
where
so
we are
true.
engaged.
And I hadn't thought about that, because that's literally the dance in our lives every day of like, okay, here's this hard thing. It's important. Here's what I can do. And I'm a pretty playful person, so
Yeah.
it has to have meaning for me. It needs to like have true value where I feel like this is something that is serving a bigger work than me.
It needs to
But it
matter.
also needs to be fun.
Yeah.
And I need to have tiny ways to make it be light. And you know what's interesting is I never saw myself working in oncology.
No.
Never thought about that. I never saw myself taking him to oncology patients. It seemed too heavy. It seemed too difficult. But I have to say that that interplay of meaning and purpose mixed with the little bits of positive emotion can turn something that would be really heavy because it's my calling. It can feel joyful. And you find those ways to play with it. You find those ways to make it your own. But it's like you said, it's every day. How can I, where am I at? Why am I trying so hard? Why am I making this difficult? Why am I acting as if everything depends on me? I need to control all these things because it's important.
Gotta do it.
And it doesn't let you be calm or access your own positive emotions. I find myself doing that every day. And it's just a reminder, like you said, you got to check in with yourself and be thinking about what is fueling this.
Yeah.
How can I, where am I at? Kind of check in with yourself. In occupational therapy, especially with kids, we have a lot of systems for, where are you at? Are you red, yellow, green? All these
How's your
different
engine
things.
running?
How's your engine running? And just to recognize the power of that is the emotional agility factor of where am I? Just recognizing if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you want to go, and being able to separate yourself from your emotion. I am feeling this way, but this isn't me.
Yeah.
I notice that I'm feeling anxious. I'm not anxious.
Yes.
I notice that I am feeling frustrated.
Yeah.
And what is that telling me? And how can I shift things up a little bit?
So you're talking about something we cover sometimes on Wild and Brave is that emotional distancing, how it's like having your face in a pool of feelings. You'll drown in them.
Legit.
But if you get a couple of inches, you can see yourself and you can see the feeling.
That is a beautiful analogy.
Right? And you learn something about yourself. You're informed by the feeling. And it can be useful to you at that point. If you get too distant from your feelings, you can't see yourself or the feeling. But you certainly don't need to just drown
in it. Yeah.
And the ability to get the little bit of distance to that phrase, you use the phrase, I really like Ethan Kross's book Chatter for working on your inner voice. If this is something that's a big thing for you, something you're working on, it's really helpful. He references a lot of research on it, and the technique he teaches the people he works with is really make the effort to stop saying I am angry and say I feel angry. Feeling, I feel anger, I feel curious, I feel sad, and I feel sad is so different than I am sad.
Isn't that the truth?
But sometimes when I work through it with myself and I let myself get away with the other wording, I pretend it's no big deal. I'm just sad. I'm just upset.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
And it's like we over identify with the feeling and it stops being nourishing and it starts to bond. We're literally identifying with it. And it holds on to us in the way it wasn't meant to.
Right. What do you always say? Emotions are messengers, right?
They're
there
temporary
to tell
messengers.
And
that's right.
They weren't meant to be, weren't turning them into pets, right?
That's right.
Don't make
That's right. Let them come and nourish you with energy and information. And then you use that energy and information and it frees them to go.
Right.
And I do feel like in some ways he is that hope delivery system or just that joy delivery system. He bypasses overcognition.
He does. And, we can be instantly touched by something. And we keep looking over our shoulders. I don't know if you can see him, but he's over there in his little bed taking a nap.
He's so cute.
He's so cute.
I'm not a dog person and I just love him.
Isn't that adorable?
He has this gravitational pull to him. His calmness. It's like if you've ever, some people don't like weighted warm blankets, but if you're feeling anxious and with my sensory issues, I've had really bad sensory days, but to be just covered in something warm and heavy that like it draws you down back into yourself. He has that like He has a gravity force to
Without even
him.
touching him, you
Without
can do
it, no,
that. And
literally,
then
like just seeing him at like,
it's true. He's a comfort object.
he is a comfort
And I
object.
can see it.
He's so
It happens
steady.
instantaneously. Like you said, kind of bypasses that cognition. We'll
That's
be
right.
walking together in the hospital. And if you wanted to feel wonderful, walk with Fitzgerald, because it's not that people are glad to see you, but you get to see
You
their
get the
joy at seeing
effect.
him. It's like as if the whole world was just delighted to see you. And I
Oh,
think it's good to experience that, because that's how life should be. We should just be greeted with warmth. And if we can make other people feel that way, I think
that's
when I'm
right.
walking down the hall, when I'm busy on my phone, if I could just be glad to see every person I see, what
Yeah.
effect that would have.
You know, when you greet someone like that, and it is, if for some of us are raised in a different way where the emotions we give each other on greeting, you're just not in the habit of big, excited
Right. And
greetings.
there are big cultural differences
It's
too. And that's
very much.
important to know.
But if you want to experience more positive emotion and you want to like foster this, one of the little things you could try is just for a week, every time you greet someone, go a little overboard.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Hi,
Hey you.
I mean, I got into the I'll throw my hands up when Megan gets home from work, and it
I
it,
love it.
it
Try it
looks
sometime.
it looks silly, but I feel so in that moment of joy.
It's an embodied emotion at
It's
that point.
embodying emotion.
And I think that's also a huge part of there's such a tactile sensory
Yep,
aspect
that little
to
guy.
Fitz, which is why he has such a great impact on a neural population when we're working on that. It's the sensation, it's the temperature. There's so many things you can do with that.
His little soft
His little
ears.
soft, they're like velvet. They're my favorite. Well, one of my many favorite things about him.
She's crazy about
But
this dog.
he's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's a touch point of calm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything else doesn't matter as much. And people feel like someone cared enough to bring them a dog when they're in the hospital.
Yeah.
And then they don't even realize one of the best things about the positive emotion he brings is how he helps me educate people.
Oh.
Because most of the time when I'm educating patients in the hospital, some things are just brand new and nothing to do with everyday life. But most of the things I do as an OT, either people who are just experiencing chemo or post-surgical, you're really basically teaching people how to do all the things they need and want to do that they've done their whole lives in a completely different way. Let me change how you get out of bed. Let me change how you put on your pants and socks and underwear. Let me tell you how you have to monitor your own energy so you're not at risk of cancer-related fatigue. Like, it's like being bossed around, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
And depending on the age and the gender and the culture, it is more and more challenging to find ways to help people receive this information so that they can use it. It's not about me telling you and you doing it. It's about you understanding your body, you understanding
being able to hear it.
Being able to hear it.
You know, you talked earlier about how our perceptual field and narrows when we're under stress, the threat programming, and how if they're in that stressed place, their ability to receive your information is actually impaired.
Right. Not only do they not remember it, they don't receive it.
They don't receive it. You can't. A lot of our memory issues that we have, everyday memory issues, are not storage and retrieval issues. They're capture issues. You didn't really get it the first time it hit you. And so with him, it really does sound like you're able to help people capture more by you bring open the windows open.
It's
joy opens those windows.
The broaden and build theory. So it kind of broadens their perspective. They can take in the information and then they can build it into what they do every single day. And the positive emotion of having him there really enhances and extends that educational factor, because as an OT, most of what I do is education. I mean, 85% of what I do, it is personalized, functionally motivated education that you can just apply in everything that you care about.
Because you don't get a lot of time with the patient. You have to understand what's going on with them and give them information they can use when you leave them for weeks or months after.
Right. We're always doing something while we're educating. So one of the big sayings in OT is we become by doing.
Oh, I love that.
I know, as a D, you love that, right? But instead of just talking through something, which we will be talking it through, but my goal is that every session doesn't feel like a treatment session or an educational bulletin, I wanted to kind of sneak up on them. And they just met a new friend that maybe understands a little bit different way of looking at what they're going through, that respects them as they're the expert in their own life.
Person.
How can we problem solve together? Let's have some fun. At the end of the day, wow, you know how to go back and live your daily life in a much safer and better way. That's really my goal. It's just to love people and to play with people and to help them do what they want to do. And he just makes that, Fitzgerald. He makes that so much
She
better.
loves her dog, so
I do.
You know, I do actually want to pop out and talk, like apply this in a completely different area.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay. So you, as an animal assisted occupational therapist, you partner with this lovable animal to help bypass people's fear, anxiety, and physical pain.
Yes.
It's emotional pain, but physical pain, so that they have the ability to learn and participate, engage.
Could you write that down? That's a really good summary of what I do.
You know what? I like that. I think it's phenomenal. And your little partner, your furry partner, does a lot to help you with that. But I don't know. I want to take it and pop out to like corporate, small business, team, in a team conversation.
Absolutely.
On our teams, one of the things we notice is not only do we need to educate people when they arrive through onboarding,
right,
but we need to be able to have ongoing conversations where people continue to get better, they problem solve together, and they take in new information.
And information is always changing.
But sometimes I think we imagine, especially if something's required for work, that we can just have a very serious, flat, informational, we'll call it willpower driven learning that we just expect.
Sure. This is just something we all have to do.
We all have to do.
Just get it done.
Get it done and get it right. And what can sound like fluff, sometimes we say, oh, well, we're not going to spoon feed people. This doesn't need to be fun. And what's interesting is when you see companies that are finding engaging and pleasant, positive ways to do education, is their mastery and excellent performance improves.
Yes.
So the connection I want to make is to talk about how positive emotion activates our ability to learn at work.
Beautiful.
To like learn and use it. So if I'm at work and I've just gotten hit with 3 new processes I have to learn, what would your advice be to me about using positive emotion to care about, have a positive learning experience instead of just gut it out and just memorize it,
right? That's a really good question, especially since like most workplaces, when something new gets put on your plate, most things don't get taken off.
No.
So it's not like, you don't get credit for doing more.
Extra.
This is what has to do. Everybody's doing it. And I think kind of zooming out and thinking, you never stop being a human and having human needs no matter what your job is, no matter what your productivity requirements are, regardless of what your industry standards are. So thinking about learning is a human process. It's natural to us. It's nurturing to us. And if we can find ways to just look at it as not a burden, but it's going to be a constant requirement in our society. I heard something, I can't give you the exact data and it may not be 100% accurate, but the information that's available and known doubles every 13 months. At the rate of new things that are known, it's just, we're in an information forward age. There's no paucity of information.
That's right.
And one of the best things we can do to not drown in it is to look for the purpose of what we're learning and look for ways to, how could I create the space for this? What will it look like to engage this, finish it, and then if you need to, master it. Because some things, not everything we need to learn
has to be mastered.
We don't have to be good at everything. And I think that's also something I'm trying to learn every day.
Word.
Don't be a perfectionist. There are going to be, and it's not about competition with other people. I need to be the best on my team, so I'm available for the race. I need to do this better than other people. Why? What are the things that I can do a good job on so I can move on to do a great job on other things? What are the things that I'm being asked to do I need to honor in my place of work because this is something I'm being asked to do versus something I need to pour all my creativity and heart into? Let me learn what I need to learn. and then reevaluate.
I
So
like that.
part of it is strategizing, right?
Well, and you're connecting it to meaning there.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning gives you some of that energy, some of that positive energy to know when enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
If you have this meaning for the information, it tells you how much of it you need to master.
Right.
If the meaning is I will never be wrong anytime someone ever asks me a question about it, that is a kind of meaning that will force you. It will crush you.
Yeah.
And I think too, so for me, I'm thinking about ways to do it on purpose, to turn the positive emotion on purpose. And in some ways, I think giving ourselves permission to make learning a positive experience instead of, oh, just get it over with,
Exactly.
is something I'm noticing for me, like taking a few minutes to do a movement that makes your body feel good.
I love that. It's
like
one of the best things we can do. And it's the thing, what happens when we're trying to get something done? I ignore my hourly movement buzzer
That's
on
right.
my phone and I know I'm
let's
not
get
going to
my
get
workout
up.
today and knock this out.
And even knowing how detrimental that is, something I did just yesterday. No, I'm just going to sit down and get all this done.
Just going to knock it out.
It's a continual learning process. And I think that having ways to make it, to break things up by joy and movement are two of the best things we can do. So,
and I think it helps me the more I've been reading a lot of experts on this, and they're talking about how the quality of your learning goes up, the speed and the accuracy of your ability to take in and master information and to synthesize it, to connect this new thing you learned to something else, which is how it sticks.
yes.
Which is where you don't have to spend so many hours trying to make yourself grinding it out. It's like the excellent way to learn, the fastest way to learn is actually to prime for positive emotion first and to learn in a way that sustains and re-engages that positive emotion.
And that makes sense because everything that's natural to us as humans goes together. So we're meant to be continuously learning. We're meant to be continuously engaging in micro moments of positive emotion. We're meant to be moving. We are meant to move. Yeah. And I think that when we can combine what's the reason I'm doing this? I think meaning, movement, and emotion are the three keys to this. And make it tiny. And you're going to screw it up. You are going to mess it up. And you got to let yourself off the hook. And starting with that growth mindset, giving yourself that psychological safety, be like, hey, I'm trying something new. Don't make a plan and make yourself married to it. Now, every day, I will sing a song and get up every 5 minutes. Well, like, what if today I tried this? And then just be a little scientist and experiment.
How could I make it a little more positive?
How can I make? And sometimes, if you're like me and you tend to overthink, maybe say, I'll try it this way for 5 days, and then I'll reevaluate. But I'm going to give myself a chance to get. It's hard to just get started on something and then evaluate it because most of the time, if we're honest, we didn't really do it the way we said we were going to do it.
No, we didn't.
Something always comes up. We try, but it's not really. And then we're kind of doubting ourselves the whole time. So if you can kind of give yourself a little window to try it in a light way.
I think something that's been really useful to me that I've kind of mixed in when I'm trying to change something like that is the awareness that I've overthought it or made it hard. I will use anytime that awareness comes, I throw my arms up and I go, how fascinating. I took that way too seriously. And I use a silly voice with myself.
I love that.
But when you lift your arms above your head, it actually releases, it helps engage, creates positive emotion in your body through your brain. Just that posture. And it interrupts you. And I give myself a smile and say, how fascinating that. I really went too hard on that.
Is calling yourself a dingleberry also allowed? Okay.
Calling yourself a dingleberry.
Bit of a dingleberry.
Bit of a dingleberry.
That's okay.
You love me even though I'm
a lovable dingleberry. That was so me. Lovable.
Well, thank you for talking to me about this. It's one of many conversations we're going to have about emotional regulation, and especially bringing more positive emotion to help us engage our life. Because living wild and brave isn't about getting it all right or doing all of the things.
Or waiting until everything is, all the ducks run around.
Yes, or even, stopping all of the things that I'm supposed to stop. It's like, what's the little thing you could do today that would give you a little more?
Both and.
A little bit more life. Yeah. And doing it together. Doing it together with others. So
that's the hugest part.
Right. So if you liked something here, any piece of it, find a friend and tell them the thing that you heard about using positive emotion to be your best self. How that's something we can do we can do to lift our own spirits and to connect to someone else. And it really is the way to give yourself more life today.
And I'll tell you, it's contagious. It's impossible to be brave by yourself, but it is surprisingly rabid when it gets out.
It
You can help
is.
people
It's
just
like
by being
glitter.
brave.
Once it starts spreading,
glitter motion.
Glitter. That's actually one of the joy movements.
Okay, that's now my new
Celebrate. Favorite. Glitter. It literally makes your body feel better.
I feel better already.
You do that. Thank you for being a glitter bomb of a human being. Because you were a human glitter bomb.
You know, it's also a good motion. Hugs.
Oh,
Got to get fits in on the next one.
Go hug somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to check and see if it recorded. Someone so handsome. Hey, baby. How you doing? You doing a little stretch? You're doing a little stretch.
Still filming you. He's got a nice little bottom.
Outtakes.
That is so